Hello everyone, it's Laura Barkman with LB Unleash Your Creativity. I'm with you today with a pre-recorded video that is being released on Monday, July 19th. I'm going to be starting to do this in my business on a more regular basis so that you can see me consistently on Mondays on my Facebook page, and most of the recorded videos will also be posted to my YouTube. So I hope you will find me. I hope you will share this video. Anyone who shares it will get entered into a draw. I will be doing draws weekly, and we will most likely be sharing cards for the most part as prizes that I make during our session, but every once in a while I might throw in a different prize. We'll see what happens. Today I'm going to do a pre-recorded video, and that will happen on the first and third Mondays of the month. Most of those videos will be tutorials on different ways to do, maybe a fancy fold or a different technique. And the live video will be something else. We'll design a card together, or we'll do some mystery stamping. If we're mystery stamping, I will post those instructions or the items you need to assemble on the weekend before the video. So again, I will be recorded on the first and third Mondays of the month, and that's just because I already have classes scheduled on that day, but I will be live on the second and fourth Mondays of the month. So I'm hoping that you can join me for those activities, and I really look forward to doing that. I am going to just lower my camera so that you can see my workspace, and we'll get started on the card that we're making today. Alright, so I'm just going to transition you down here very quickly, and or I did transition you down, and you should now be able to see my workspace, and I think everything is lined up there. Okay, so I'm going to show you the card that we're going to make today, and it is based on this one here. So we are going to do this really pretty drapery fold. Now, one thing that I did learn as I was making these is you do need to watch the paper that you're using to make sure that it is non-directional, or if you are using a directional paper, then you need to be thinking of that. So I'll show you what I did with the other half of this, because pansies do make this a directional piece of paper. So I did have to become a little creative when I did my second card with this paper, just because I hadn't realized that I would have a directional issue while I was making this. So we'll show you that in a moment, but let's just get started with what we're going to do today. So I'm going to be using the hand-penned paper today, and I do want to point out that both the hand-penned and the pansy petal papers are part of the DSP sale that is on until August 2nd. You do get 15% off of those paper packages, so they're like about $13.50 if you're here in Canada. If you would like to order a paper package, then you can certainly reach out to me using my website, which is lbunleashyourcreativity.com, or send me an email at lbunleashyourcreativity@gmail.ca. I will put that in the video notes as well for you. So the hand penned and the pansy petal are on sale. There are a couple of others. You'll find the selection posted on my Facebook page, and again, on sale until August 2nd, so it's a great way to stock up. And if you have a lot of DSP, this particular card is a great way to get some of that used up. And what I've got here, let me just put it this way for you so you can see the whole piece. This is a 12 by 6 piece of paper. So I'm going to get 2 cards out of this one piece. So you can see how even making this one card, you would get 4 cards out of one piece of 12 by 12 paper. It will use up your stash of paper. So if you're a paper hoarder, like most of us home crafters are, you may have some paper that you can get used up using this. You just have to remember to pay attention to any directionality of the paper. And you may want to also pay attention to what's on the other side, because we are getting a little bit of a peekaboo effect here. So in the pansy petal DSP, there's a piece that has a print on one side, but the other side is all of these pansy faces that are meant to be cut out. That might not be a great paper to use, because what you would see peeking through here isn't very interesting. So you may want to, consider that when you're looking at your papers as well. But let's get started with this one. So I'm going to be using my 12 by 6 piece of DSP, and I'm just going to take a pencil, and using my grid paper, I can tell that two markings here is an inch, so I'm just going to mark an inch on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. So my inch marker is up here on this side, and I'm going to go down to the bottom corner on the opposite side, and I'm going to mark an inch over here, and you'll see why that is useful in a moment. So before we do anything with those markings that I just made, I am going to use my paper trimmer. I'm going to extend the arm out here a little bit. And sorry about the glare with my lights, otherwise you get lots of shadows. I'll try to move that one out of the way for the moment, and hopefully you can see it just a little bit better. So our first thing that we're going to do is we have marked along the hot dog side, and we are now going to score in the opposite direction. And we are going to score at 1 inch. So I'm going to go here at 11 inches. And then I'm going to score at 2 inches past that. 1, 2. Oops, that didn't work very well. Popped my blade out as I was going past there. Okay, and then we are going 1 inch flat, and then we are going 2 inches. So I was at 8, I'm going to jump down here to 6, and then 1 inch, and then 2 inches. Okay, and then another single inch. So if you are using your scoring pal instead of your paper trimmer, you are going to be scoring at 1 inch, 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, 9 inches, and 10 inches. And it's going to give you these, let's see if you can see you're going to get all of these score marks in there. So now what I'm going to do on my paper trimmer, I am going to find those markings that I made from corner to corner. So, made them in pencil. Oh, will work. Maybe I made them too lightly in pencil because I am not seeing them. Okay, that's okay. I'll mark them again. So we are going 1 inch from this side is here. That's why I did them in pencil, just so that, oh, there's the other one. Okay. There, it's here. Okay, let me erase this one. Don't need it, I found it. All right, so I'm going to find my marking here, and I'm going to put it in the channel of my trimmer. Let me move that into view for you. Okay, so in my channel here, I am moving my 1 inch marker here, and I am matching my 1 inch marker at the top into the channel at the very top of my trimmer. Once those markings are into that 1 inch, or once those 1 inch markings are into the cutting channel, I am just going to cut my paper. Okay, so now I have these two pieces. I'm going to move my trimmer out of the way. And this one I'm going to have to fix. So I scored a little too hard through that and it actually cut the paper. That's okay, I can fix that after. So we're going to work with this one. And we want this to be hanging like drapery. So what we're going to do now is take our bone folder and gently start folding this. So I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to take the second embossing row, and I am just going to fold that one like this. And then, nope, wrong way around. This one goes down so that this one comes up. And then we get that pale papaya polka dot just peeking through there a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing, zigzag fold with this next one, and we're going to get that pale papaya poking through. If I flipped it over on the other side, it's all the same pattern, okay? So then here we're going to do the same thing, zigzag fold that one, and then I can also fold this one just to get that last little peek through there. Now it's totally going to depend on how you put this on the card as to how many peaks you will have. I have got only 2 on this one, but I did do another one in a different direction. I'll show you that one here. 3. So this is what I did with my other half of this piece of paper. I did it more as a step than as a piece of drapery. I think it worked out well, but that's my option. So with this one, I'm going to put this piece on. So I've already prepared some papers here. I have embossed this piece of Blushing Bride with the embossing folder called Ornate Floral 3D. It's this one here. I just wanted a little bit of texture behind my drapery when I put it on here. So we can see here already. I should be able to get all 3 of those on here. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to go right to the top of this piece of paper with my DSP. On this one, I left a little bit of room at the top and put some ribbon up there. I will put some ribbon on here, but I'm not going to worry about leaving some extra space, mostly because I want this fold. That's more important to me than not covering my DSP with some ribbon. So to put that on there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm going to pull it all the way across the top of my card here. Or my DSP, sorry. And that's going to help me hold some of it down. And I don't want to put it all over. When I paste this down on my card, looking at this one, I want to be able to have this little bit of a lift so you get this little bit of dimension in your card there. So that's all I'm going to do there. And then on the right, so this is the right side of the paper, I'm also going to put some Stampin' Seal Plus on that side. And I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus because it's got those little slits in it. It's just going to give it a little bit of a heavier hold because my paper is embossed that I'm putting it on. If I was just putting this on basic straight flat cardstock, I wouldn't worry about using the Plus. I would just use the Stampin' Seal. That's more than strong enough to bond the DSP to cardstock. All right, so just going to tuck this down. And now that is all attached. And you can see we've got the lift in here. Now they're lifting up here, and that's where my ribbon is going to help to just hold those tops down and hold them flat. And then we do have an overhang here. So you can take your trimmer, or you could also do this with scissors. I'm going to use my trimmer if I can bring it in. And just with this paper turned, I'm going to line up my edge. So this should be at 4 because I'm going to provide a little frame on my finished card. So that's nicely lined up. Just going to cut that. And now we have this finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in some of this very pretty pale papaya. I think this is a braided ribbon. What's it called? Woven ribbon, not braided, woven. This is going to go along the top just to help provide some stability. Give that a little snip because I've got what I need measured out there. All right, so I'm going to use some glue dots. I like to put 1 at each end. Whoops. So I put my ribbon onto my glue dots and then I lift my ribbon off and you can see the glue dots are attached. Now just to provide some extra stability here, I'm also going to put a couple in the middle. I have noticed my ribbon is sliding off of some of the spots on these cards that I've done. Like right here, you can see it's just not sitting right where I want it to. And even on this one, it has slid off a little bit. So I'll be going back and fixing those up. That's not a problem. You learn as you go when you're making something new. So I'm sharing my tips with you here. And you know, if you make this and you find something that you can share in terms of tips too, I would love it if you would do that in the comments below for this video. All right, that's gonna just wrap around. Oh, and there's dog hair in there. 2 dogs, there is dog hair in everything. You just get used to it. But I do try to pull it out of my card so that the recipient doesn't have that lovely little piece. Okay, so that is now finished on there. How are you guys liking how this is coming along? I'm really happy with how that looks. Love this paper. Okay, this one I'm going to put on a piece of pale papaya cardstock that I have pre-cut to 5.5 by 11, and I'm just going to score it at 4 1/4. Okay, so that one's scored. I'm going to just give that a quick fold. You'll notice there hasn't been any stamping yet. This is all being done with paper. All right, so that is going to go on there just like that, I think. Actually, I see this isn't quite, I didn't get it quite into the channel I needed to get it into, so I am going to just trim this up by hand because I don't like how it's making this part of the card look a little bit longer, and I think that happened just because the paper's so thick and I didn't hold it properly when I cut it. I did feel it slip a little bit. Okay, much better. That looks like a much straighter cut. Now you could raise this up with some dimensionals if you wanted, but I am going to put this down with just a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus again, and I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus because we're going cardstock to cardstock. I just like that little bit of a heavier coverage that it gives, but I do not, I do not put a lot on here. Just a little bit in the corners and then just a small swash in the middle. I did run off the edge here, so I'm just going to push those pieces in so that I don't have adhesive hanging over. They are adhesive on both sides, so that's still going to stick. I've run into that problem before where I'm not driving straight. Alright, so now I'm going to open up my pale papaya. I'm going to paste this, centering it as best as I can. That's why I like to use grid paper underneath. It just helps me get that center in. Okay, there we go. So that's coming along nicely. Now I'm going to take, I have these shapes that I pre-cut. I think I'm going to use the pale, no, I think I'm going to use the pale papaya on here. Let's see. So these are cut with the So Sweet die. I think they're stitched So Sweetly dies, I think is what they're called. One moment. I will just double check that for you. These are my absolute favorite. And you would think that I would know the name of them just off the top of my head, but it is escaping me at the moment. And it is Stitched So Sweetly dies. So it's these ones here. Where did they go? These ones here. These are my absolute favorites. So I've used this larger one. Just pull that out. This larger one and then this one here to create the layered look that we have. And I'm happy with that. I'm just going to stamp using Memento on this one. And I have a thank you. Now this thank you is from our sweet ice cream set. This is one of my favorites. It carried over from the mini catalog into our annual catalog. So I am using that on here. I could easily have made this into a happy birthday card. I'm actually going to make my second one into a wedding card. And I'm going to use a retired greeting on that one because I love, it says wishes, lifetime of love and happiness. And I absolutely love that. I have a cousin who's getting married this summer and I'm going to send her that card as well wishes. Right, so that is now stamped and it is ready to be popped onto our base here. I'm just going to use some dimensionals. I'm going to use about 4, one on each side here. 3, 4. Okay. Oops. Alright, so that is going to just get popped into here. And I'm going to use this to hide this little bit of paper that doesn't quite go all the way across, but that's okay. If I had wanted it to go all the way across, I could have left this flap more open at the back here. There's a piece that was tucked in. That's how we had the option for a third drape but, or sorry, 4th drape, but I've cut it off. It's this one right here. So we have the option right here to have that drape. So I could have moved it over and I could shift my drapes around just a little bit, but I didn't want to do that. I like this just the way it is. So I'm going to put this, I think, right on that like that. Now, what you can see that I'm doing, I could line it up all the way out to there. I don't want to hide. I don't really want to hide that drape though, but I do want to hide this. Okay, that's fine. We're just going to do it like this. I'm hiding that drape. I think on this one, I moved it more sideways. That's why this whole drape got cut off. It's playing with it. I like it. I think I like it right there. So with this card, I'm going to cut off. I know this little knob is extra. Where do my scissors go? So I'm just going to cut it right there from end to end. It's got a little bit long there. Okay, so that's just extra. This is going to come on here, just like that. And I'm going to also glue this one down flat. I Stamp and Seal Plus. Just on each of those sides, a little bit of adhesive, and this will be more than good to go. Now, I think I'm going to leave mine like this. You could, of course, add a little embellishment to it. You could add, for instance, on this one, I could have cut out one of my pants here just as a little embellishment. I could put some rhinestones. I don't know, maybe a knot. Let's see what that may look like. Just a nice little knot here with the ribbon. Maybe underneath like that. That will make it too heavy to go in the mail. Maybe I won't do that. I do kind of like the look of that though. Alright, we'll do it. This just won't go in the mail. Oh, I want my ribbon scissors. I am so sorry that these ribbon scissors were discontinued and they are not available for purchase anymore. They are fabulous for getting a nice sharp cut on my ribbon. There we go. I can't live without mine, and I really hope at some point Stampin' Up! Brings one of those kinds of scissors back. I know they've cut their scissors back a lot, and the paper snips are wonderful, nice and sharp, easy to fussy cut with, but I wish they had, I wish they had ribbon scissors again. I'm struggling. Does this go here? This is where I wish you guys were live with me. Oh, I kind of like it there. Or does it go up here? I kind of like it in both places. I'm going to go with it up here. This is where I was going in the first place. So that's where it's going to go now. All right. So there is my finished card. Super easy. I have some samples here of other ways to do this. So these two are essentially the same, just with different paper. This is using the same paper as the pansy. The directionality is different. It's still a thank you card. Again, you could make these into anything. Thinking of you, birthday cards, it doesn't matter, whatever. If you have the right kind of paper, how easy is this to make into a card that's perfect for a masculine occasion? So I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed all of the different options we have here, and if you need any paper, please feel free to reach out to me, and don't forget that sale is only until the August 2nd, so the end of July, early August, but you don't want to miss out on that. So thank you so much. Happy stamping. Until next Monday.